It finally arrived! So excited about today's video, guys, because we have the all-new WLtoys 124008. And this WLtoys is different from any WLtoys ever made. And for the first time ever, it can actually do its promised box speed. But we're gonna put that to the test anyways. I'm so excited. Let's just get out there. Let's drive this car. We'll come back and talk about all the ins and outs later. This leaf pile is much more of a challenge than it looks like. Nice jump. Look at it just fly, wow. Believe it or not, little jumps like that could actually break the old WLtoys. And oftentimes did in my case. Nice. God, it really does fly. Really good air authority this car has compared to the old buggies. Let's get over to Speed Run Park and open it up. Before we test the speed claim, it has two body posts on the rear, one in the front. The old cars was one in the front, one in the rear, and the old bodies never did fit quite right. They always leaned to one side or the other. They would wobble while you drove. This new body fits absolutely perfectly and snug, and you can even tuck the sides of it down into these little side skirts on the chassis. And not only would that help protect the body if you take impacts from the side, but would also help keep a bit of dirt out of the inside of the chassis when you're driving in loose dirt. Let's put that speed claim to the test. 60 kilometers per hour is 37 miles per hour. And we did 38.7 miles per hour, so it actually exceeds its promised box speed. Well done. Keep up the good work on that. Oh, and look at the size of the drive shafts. Those are the kind of sizes you'd usually see on a 10th scale or up. Now, about that radio, I'm sort of on the fence about it. I do like that they included this one-hand drive thumbstick, which is really nice because big hands, small hands, doesn't matter. You can get full lock, full range of steering really easily. This is not a part of the radio. That's my own phone mount. They did attempt to put a phone mount on there, which is a nice thought. I do appreciate the effort and thought behind that, but it's really not a good one. Unless you got accustomed to driving with your hand tilted all the way back like that, that phone mount is pretty much useless. But an upside to this radio is that this radio is said to have 0 delay. It's said that they've cured that now, so we're gonna find out. I'm gonna pin the throttle. We're in grass. This is normally where you notice a lot of cog with the WLtoys car and radio delay, and the ones that didn't cog. Let's see if we get either. None. It just took right off. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh yeah. No hesitation, no cog. The reason that throttle delay was such a problem in the old cars wasn't just because it was annoying, but it made the cars more difficult to drive because it was hard to predict how they behave. Because your inputs versus the car's reaction was way off time. But now, you can easily drive the car, and not to mention, what a good-looking buggy. We'll get into the ins and outs here when we're done driving and having a good time. Oh, nice little flick. Oh, it handles nice, predictable. There were WLtoys in the past where just going this fast off-road was enough to shake things loose, even bend your drive shafts. That's not going to happen with this car. And this car can survive some jumps at the skate park because of that MJX style chassis. It's lighter, it's cheaper, and it's tougher than any 12 scale buggy that WLtoys has ever made so far. What a step in the right direction for WLtoys. It's a real ripper off-road. It's not quite as fast as the old 12 scale buggies are, but as with any hobby grade RC, you can always make it faster yourself. Oh, it handles beautifully. I'm gonna be careful, I don't want to burn these tires up. No cogging from the motor, no throttle delay with the radio. Let's test the range. It's immense. I'm all the way at the end of Speed Run Road. Response is still perfect even from here. Well done, WLtoys, what a car. Oh, traction roll, not too bad. Now that used to bend the drive shafts really bad in the old cars. That little traction roll is not gonna hurt these drive shafts at all. And if they keep making cars like this, there'll be no reason not to fall in love with them again. It's more than just miles per hour per dollar now. They actually are giving legitimate good quality and durability. Something they've never done in the past. At least not by my experience. I've always had a very easy time breaking WLtoys cars. And they have always been very, very fast for very, very cheap. That's kind of always been the charm of them. But there's so much more to a good RC than speed. This car's not as fast as the old buggies, but it's better in every other way. But I think 40 miles an hour is plenty fast, because this car is meant more for this kind of stuff. Oh, I did not see that hump. What a car. It's got the durability, which we're really going to put to the test at the skate park. This battery's really hanging in there. I've been pinning the throttle a lot. Jumps really well too. It's got more air authority than most of the other WL toys have had. Well, the buggies at least. Lighter chassis and no radio delay. Does make for a little bit better air control. Oh, nice. Better than any other WL toys I've ever driven. Almost all of them would have broken by now. This one, it's just built different, as they say. Wow! What a step in the right direction from WL Toys. Very impressive buggy. They really have put in real effort to address some of the issues of the past, and they've actually cured several. One of the biggest issues that they've fixed that everyone's experienced with WL Toys, they got rid of the cogging with the electronic system. And the delay on the radio is gone. Yes, this radio looks like a silly toy, but functionally it is actually better than the old radio. They also added these massive drive shafts, which again, these are the types of sizes that you'd see on larger cars, 10th scale or up, especially when you compare them to a drive shaft from the old car. Look at the difference. Look at this tiny little drive shaft and look at this beefy boy drive shaft. The shocks were actually never bad. I always thought that WL Toys cars had pretty good shocks for being such a cheap brand. So the shocks do seem to be identical, but that's not an issue. That's not a problem. There are no more turnbuckles. It's now just a solid plastic bit. It acts more like an upper A-arm, really, than a turnbuckle. But I actually like the way that the camber's set in the toe. I think it's completely fine the way it is. I don't plan on changing it. And if you take a hard landing, these will still pop off just like the old turnbuckles did, which is good because it prevents breakage. But since these ones are plastic, they also won't bend. And then, of course, the centerpiece of the entire car, this new MJX-style chassis, is absolutely fantastic. The old metal chassis weren't really bad, but, you know, it is a cheaper metal, and I did have them bend and twist a little bit. Really not too bad, though, for the kind of abuse I put them through. But they still did bend, and they still did twist. This won't do that. And the likelihood of me breaking this chassis is pretty slim unless I do something pretty extreme. No more metal shock tower. This is a plastic shock tower, but I actually like this plastic shock tower. I actually think it's better. These metal shock towers would transfer a lot of shock to the tops of the gearbox when you wreck, and they'd often just break the whole top of the gearbox right off. It could still happen on these, I suppose, but the chances of it are lower. If you can put aside the fact that the new buggy's not as fast as the old buggies, it is actually better in every other measurable way. It's lighter, it's tougher, and these are actually cheaper than the other 12 scale buggies of the past. And you could just go ahead and put the old 60 amp 4300 kV system in there if you want, and make it as fast as you want it to be. The battery that comes with it, I'm not a big fan of these batteries, but it is very nice that it does come with this battery. There's nothing wrong with this battery, except I wish I had wires on it so that I can use regular hobby chargers instead of one of these wall chargers. That's really the only complaint I have about the battery. And it does fit nice and snug inside the chassis, but you can use any Dean's connector batteries that you like. If you don't like this battery, you could just take this off, and then you could pull this out, and you can put any battery in here that will fit and run anything that you want. So you can run any battery, any Dean's connector battery with this car you want, or you can just change a connector if you want as well. Now, I keep going on about the durability of this car, and we really don't know how durable it is just yet. But in the next video, we're going to find out because we're going to race it and then we're going to skate park it. And I am fairly certain this will be the first WL Toys I ever take to the skate park that will actually survive a full battery pack. But we'll find out in the next video. So what's the overall score here? 38 miles per hour, 12 scale, 3S battery included, $120. I don't know how long it's going to stay at that price, but I will try to find the best deal I can find for you guys and link it in the description below. Because if you guys are looking at a WL Toys buggy, they're very well known for their 12 scale line, and I think this really is the best they've ever made. Let me just say, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Remember, it's not about miles per hour, it's about miles per mile, so have fun, and we'll see you in the next one.